If you didn't see the Democrats having their dog and pony show last night, this is one of those NBC productions. In other words, people like Andrea Mitchell happened to be there. She's an appendage of the Clinton campaign. But if you didn't see it, I'll give you a quick synopsis. Late in the debate, Peyton Manning led a late drive and ended up taking the lead, and then the Broncos kicked the field goal, and they cleared the liberals from the stage. 8:34. Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310, KLIX, and newsradio1310.com. It's 38. Lots of rain today, but the rest of the week is mainly just a partly sunny forecast. Not terribly warm, but not terribly cold. We are now officially, I think, in the winter doldrums. There was one moment during the debate, though, that caught my attention. Martin O'Malley I think he's polling about 5% among Democrats nationwide, and those are all of his relatives. He is a former governor of Maryland, mayor of Baltimore, Maryland before that. Served a couple of terms as governor, served a couple of terms as mayor in that city. And he is, if Hillary goes to jail, who knows? He could end up being the Democrats' nominee, even on 5%. Most people couldn't recognize him or pull him out of a lineup. He could go into the witness protection program and be just fine. But during a course of a discussion about guns and gun control, and of course Clinton saying she wants to take them all away, I might be exaggerating slightly, but I think we pretty much know what she thinks. And then Sanders saying, he thinks we should at least let people in his home state of Vermont keep their firearms for deer hunting. O'Malley decided to unload and tear up and share with them the awful things that happen when people have firearms, and mentions his former tenure as mayor of Baltimore.
And I would have to agree with both of them. They've both been inconsistent when it comes to this issue. I'm the one candidate on this stage that actually brought people together to pass comprehensive gun safety legislation. This is very personal to me, being from Baltimore. I will never forget one occasion visiting a little boy in Johns Hopkins Hospital. He was getting a birthday haircut, the age of 3, when drug dealers turned that barbershop into a shooting gallery, and that boy's head was pierced with a bullet. And I remember visiting him. It did not kill him. I remember visiting him and his mother in Johns Hopkins Hospital, in his diapers with tubes running in and out of his head, same age as my little boy. So after the slaughter of the kids in Connecticut, Lester, we brought people together. We did pass in our state comprehensive gun safety legislation. It did have a ban on combat assault weapons, universal background checks. And you know what? We did not interrupt a single person's hunting season. I've never met a self-respecting deer hunter that needed an AR-15 to down a deer.
Yeah, there are only about 25,000 deer living in downtown Baltimore, and people out hunting them all the time. How would he know any deer hunters? I mean, this is a guy, he was mayor of this big city, probably never left to go outside the confines to anywhere rural until he was governor. Then he had to drive a few miles to Annapolis when he was governor to go to work, and that usually was down a nice parkway, which was all cleared out for him on the way back and forth. Who does this guy actually know? Who do these liberals know that goes out and hunts deer, or hunts anything for that matter? They don't. They've got no clue what people are like who do those types of things. Where I grew up, hunting was part of survival. I mean, you get 66 pounds of venison in your freezer over the course of the winter, then you can feed your family. They don't grasp this. And I don't know that many people who are actually out hunting with an AR-15. Where does that story get any credence from? Can we also point out, when he was talking about how bad his city was, when they had all these shootings and barbershops were getting shot up? In fact, there was a family, an entire family, large family, that died. They had been apparently part of a program to rat out drug dealers in their neighborhoods to the O'Malley administration, and somehow it got leaked that they were ratting out the drug dealers. So the drug dealers burned the family's home down and killed about, half a dozen people who were living inside, burned them to death. They were nothing but charcoal when it was done. All during O'Malley's administration, Baltimore was known as Murder City. It's known as Murder City again because they've got someone who's taken a very similar approach to running the operation. He has said in the past that no one needs an AR-15 because the police can protect you. Some wise guy today at Facebook, after I posted his comments, actually posted a picture of last year's Baltimore riots where the thugs are dancing atop a damaged police car after they've chased the police away. Yep, nobody needs to defend themselves. You let him take care of it for you. Randy Staple is coming up in just about a couple of minutes with us on News Radio 1310. KLIX and newsradio1310.com. Bill Colley with you this morning. on top story. And of course, if you're a hunter, or even if you just like the taste of beef and pork and various meats, we want to recommend High Desert Meat Processing in Twin Falls, where you get one animal processed at a time, and what you bring in is exactly what you're going to get back. Darren Van Horn, the owner of High Desert Meat Processing, he's been doing this over 30 years. Visit High Desert Meat Processing on Facebook, where you can read reviews of other customers, or give High Desert Meat Processing a call for all of your wild game and domestic processing needs. The number is 734-9949. High Desert Meat does in-house smoking, and nothing gets shipped out. Specialty meats, too. Polish dogs, hot dogs, kielbasa, breakfast sausage, brats, salami, summer sausage, jerky, and pepperoni. USDA approved, and Darren works closely with local beef growers on their programs to ensure quality meat. The number is 734-9949. Randy Staples on the way from Idaho Weekly Briefing. We'll talk a little bit about the governor's education proposals, which Randy seems to believe is generous, except the liberals don't think it's anywhere near enough, or nearly enough. Are you surprised by that? Well, we'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes.